right, what is up, New York Liberty fans? This is NYLFTV. It is Kenny Saint-Vil, and I'm here with my guy, Gabe Zoda. The New York Liberty fall to the Chicago Sky, 91-85. As my guy Alfred Corrier said, the trap game. It was the trap game blues today. Gabe, what did we see tonight? What happened out there?
Yeah, I mean, the game was won and lost right here in the paint. The rebounding, 42-27. The paint points, Chicago scores 52 points in the paint. I mean, they only scored one shot outside of the paint in the whole second half, and it was that Rachel Banham bank shot three from the top of the key. And, you know, you look at that game, that's where it's won and lost. And after the game, when we're talking to Sandy Brondello, we're talking to Leo Marine, I mean, the message is all the same. First of all, they got to stay consistent because you can't go from having your best win on Tuesday to Thursday having one of the worst losses.
Yeah,
it just can't happen. And one of the biggest reasons, they just started off a little bit too slow there in the game, settling a little bit too many threes.
Consistently inconsistent. That's one of the key factors to this team. They have been a little bit inconsistent in the way that they've played. One thing that has been inconsistent, but also consistent on the refs' point, is the way they've been calling the game, because the Liberty have been trailing in that free throw disparity. You also look at tonight, Chicago shot, I believe, 33 or was it 39 free throw attempts to Liberty's 15 free throw attempts. Huge disparity. And you look at the last four games, teams are combined 33 more free throw attempts, and I'm pretty sure that number rose since Madeline Kenny posted that. So how big of an issue is this free throw battle right now?
Yeah, I think tonight a little bit misconstrued when we talk about the free throws. It started to level out the end of the game. I mean, Liberty just weren't attacking the paint a lot throughout the game to start. So obviously when the free throw disparity was huge, a lot of it, yes, we could talk about, hey, some calls could have gone here and there, but a lot of it was they just weren't driving enough. And we saw at the end of the game in the fourth quarter, when the Liberty started to put the pressure in the paint a little bit more, you saw them get, I think it was 11 free throws in just that fourth quarter alone. And Sabrina Ionescu told us after the game, we just got to the free throw line just too late in the game.
Yeah.
So part of it is just being on that front foot a lot earlier in the game, not allowing a team like the Sky or anybody else. I mean, they play Atlanta in a couple days, another physical team. They're going to try to get to the paint as much as possible early on as well, because they saw it work this game. So it's on the Liberty to make sure they, you know, whether it's packing the paint or just being more physical more early on, to not allow that tone to be set. I think right now with the Liberty, that's where that inconsistency comes from. It's when are we going to apply that pressure? When are we on that back foot? Because when they turn it on, we know there's nobody in this league that can really turn it on with them outside of maybe Minnesota. But they got to turn it on, and they got to do it for 40 minutes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think there was something that you brought up earlier in the scrum with the lead changes, you know, having that disparity, because, you know, against the Minnesota Lynx, the number one team in the WNBA right now, there were only 2 lead changes in that game to this game where we had about, 22 lead changes against the Chicago Sky. So, just even speaking about that, especially against the Chicago, like that many lead changes, what kind of what does that say about this team to kind of have that big matchup that we had on Tuesday versus the Lynx, and then come out and, you know, lay an egg tonight? Like, what does that say about this team right now? And are you worried? Are you panicking knowing that there are 8 games left before the playoffs start?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm ever really worried about this team, and maybe I'm just a little bit too hopeful. But I just think once you get Stewie back and once things kind of settle back in, I'll be a lot more confident about this team. This team, you know, without Stewie's 5-7. So obviously Stewie makes a big difference. I don't even need to say that. We all know that.
Absolutely.
But once again, I mean, you talk about the difference that those games make. We talk about styles make fights. So Chicago, coming into the game, we all knew, like everyone listening, we all know Chicago is a great rebounding team. They're great at second chance points. They're going to be tough in the paint with Reese and Cardoso.
Yeah,
and all those things that we know. So we know that they knew in the locker room, just it didn't play out here. And we could throw out every theory we want. You know, they didn't show the effort, or they just didn't get to start off on the right foot. I think the biggest thing was finding that balance, and something that multiple players talked about, Leo and Sab, after the game, was just finding the balance of, hey, they might be giving us open threes to start the game, but how can we make sure that we're prioritizing getting 2 feet in the paint, like Sandy Brondello always says, and working inside to out, like Leo was making fun of Sandy. Remember when they were doing the impersonations a couple days ago? Focus inside to out. She says it for a reason, because of nights like this. So when you can get penetration, you want to do that. Take some open threes here and there, but there's got to be a little bit more of a balance. We didn't see that balance in this game, especially early on. And it's all a mental game, right? You allow the Chicago Sky to make them think that they can win this game. You gotta put it on them to start and get on their necks to start. If you don't do that, mentally they're like, oh, we got this. And you give a team that isn't playing for much right now, you give them that hope. They say, hey, we could spoil their win at home at the Barclays Center with almost 16,000 fans. We're gonna do that. That's on the Liberty to be like, hey, we can't allow them to think they can win this game.
And it's absolutely tough because of the standings, knowing that Atlanta plays tonight as well. They play, was it the Aces tonight?
They played Minnesota. They beat
Minnesota. They beat Minnesota tonight. And, that puts Liberty at number 3 right now, correct?
Yeah, I mean, depending on how the games went out, I don't have them in front of me. The Liberty might actually be 4th in the standings. They're right with the Aces right now in that 4-5 spot. I think we have the tiebreaker, so the Liberty are 4th. But, I mean, that's how tight it is right now.
It's tight. So in that scenario, the Liberty having that 4th seed, they would potentially see the Minnesota Lynx in the second round, if it all. So these final 8 games are huge. The Liberty kind of really let one down today. This again, Coach Brondello was upset, rightfully so. Marine said she had some interesting things to say in the locker room. We can't disclose those, but one thing that I did want to point out what Sabrina Ionescu said is that not only did they get caught with their pants at the ankles, but this Chicago team is a good team. Don't look at the record. They are a good team. You did speak about those tangibles, about the rebounding, their inside scoring and things like that. But they also did beat the Minnesota Lynx. Yep. Unfortunately, the Liberty cannot have let something like this happen tonight. Jonquel Jones tonight had 25 points, 7 rebounds, great effort. But the second leading scorer on the team was Natasha Cloud. How much of a problem is that? I know Natasha Cloud is a dynamic player. She's awesome. She is a bucket when she needs to be. But when Natasha Cloud is your second leading scorer, is that a problem for the Liberty? Because we know Natasha as a dynamic defender, all a WNBA defensive team. But when she's that second leading scorer on the team, do you think that bodes to be a problem for the Liberty?
I mean, it can be, right? I mean, there are games where Tosh, was the leading scorer and they won. But I think consistently, Tosh ideally isn't your second leading scorer, right? Obviously, when you talk about when Stewie's back, whatever, that's a different dynamic. But without Stewie right now, you need Sab. And Sab was on a really nice streak, coming into today and, some earlier games, last game or tonight wasn't really herself. KB, last 2 games, just shooting 4 for 17 from the field. So that's something to look at as well. We talked about how great KB's been off the bench. Hasn't been that same the past couple of games. And then you look at other players too. Like, can players really just pick it up? Whether it is Sab and there's someone helping just facilitate everything. I think Leo, I tweeted about it a couple of games ago. I think Leo is the biggest X factor.
Absolutely.
Tonight, she only had 8 points, and she was sitting at 8 points for a long time. She had 8 points. I don't think she scored in the second half of this game. So, I mean, to me, Leo needs to be the X factor always. And if Leo can be that, whether it's a secondary, tertiary scorer, if Sab isn't there that night, I think that's super important for this team. But, I mean, we talked about it. Tosh can't be that number 2 person. Ideally, it needs to be Sab, and Sab just didn't have it all the way tonight with a couple of her shots.
Yeah, and I just wanted to look at Leo. Leo was 3 of 5. She only shot 5 field goal attempts, and we know how it is.
Emma only had 5 points tonight as well.
Yeah, I know. So this is the first game that Emma has a single digit scoring game in the New York Liberty uniform. I definitely was shocked to see, but Emma, she did have 7 rebounds and 6 assists. She was really moving the ball.
And 6 turnovers.
Yeah, and 6 turnovers, a dubious quadruple single. And it was one of those kind of nights. But Leonie Febish, 5 shot attempts. I don't think that's good. That's good enough. We always want to see her at 7+. Stewie spoke about it ad nauseum at the start of the season. But another thing with Leo, not necessarily a ball handler, but somebody who gets her teammates involved. She's assisting the ball at a high clip. I think this is a career high, averaging around 3 assists a game. And, just having Leo in more actions, I think, as the wild card is definitely something that the Liberty should look into more. Next game is on Monday, correct?
Next home game's on Monday. Next game is Saturday.
Oh, next game is Saturday.
Atlanta.
Next game is Saturday in Atlanta. That boasts to be quite the matchup. Who owns that tiebreaker? Atlanta or New York?
I don't know offhand. This game might determine it.
This game might determine that tiebreaker. Well, Saturday's the next game.
Who cares about tiebreakers? Just win the damn game.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely what Gabe said. Just win. New York Liberty have to go out and win. Before we go, is there anything that we missed, anything that you want to call out for tonight, or anything that we should look into for the upcoming game?
Got to start early. Got to set the tempo early. Big reason why the Liberty beat the Lynx was because that first 5 minutes they were aggressive. They were up on every single play, hands in every single lane. You have to start the game off feeling like, hey, we're here to stay. We're here and we're going to win this game, because it sets the tone, right? Especially in an away arena in Atlanta. They're going to have their fans there. They know how important that game is.
Yep.
If you could start off that game in the right direction, that bodes well for the entirety, the rest of, whether it is the first 5 minutes, it helps the rest of the 35 minutes. We talked about how important this team needs to finish games, right? We saw a couple blunders late in games, but you got to start off the game right. And I think if they could start off setting the tone early, getting in the paint, not allowing themselves to get bullied down low early with some of those bigs in Atlanta, then I think the Liberty can definitely take that game.
You heard it here first. The keys to the next game: throw the first punch, and it's about how you start and how you finish. Let's see if the Liberty can get it done. Again, the Liberty fall to the sky 91-85. Next game Saturday. I am Kenny Saint-Vil, and this is my guy Gabe Zoda. Peace. Thanks, brother.